Hello friends, this is Wendy with Love and Stampin'. I'm excited you're here. I'm going to be using this stencil from Rabbit Hole Designs, and I actually had pre-recorded this little bit of video for a different video and then just added it. But here I really want to show you this cool technique. So this stencil with Rabbit Hole comes with not just the stencil but then the little cutouts. So basically what I did here is I did a reverse technique where I am masking off where the leaves will remain, and I'm going to use ink to create a beautiful background. I really love how this background turns out, and I'm excited to share this technique with you. So I probably should have put this down first, but I didn't. I have my sweet petunia grid paper here. I'm just putting it underneath. I use this stuff constantly. And then just sliding my piece all in place, getting everything set up where I want it, and then I'll start my spritzing. So Stampin' Up sells misting spritzer bottles. They're really skinny and long, and they come 2 in a pack, and they're fairly inexpensive. And I've had them in my craft room for years, and I use them for this technique mostly. I don't, in fact, I may not have ever even used them for any other technique. So what you do is you take one of the spritzer bottles, and I'll make sure to link to all of this stuff below the video, okay? So I take a spritzer bottle, I pour rubbing alcohol in it, and then I add in drops of color. So you can use re-inkers from Stampin' Up. They're water-based, and you just drop them in. So here I'm using pumpkin pie, and this is a little trick to show you how to get multiple colors out of one. So I start with pumpkin pie. I could have even started with Daffodil Delight, but I chose to start with pumpkin pie. I'm going to add my rubbing alcohol, and then I'm going to shake everything together. Obviously, the more drops of pigment that you add, the darker it's going to be. So in this case, I added like two or three drops of pumpkin pie, and then I'm putting my lid on, shaking this up really vigorously, and then I'm going to spritz my surface so that everywhere that it sprays is actually going to, the little plastic pieces are going to block off the cardstock. You're going to see when this is all finished. Really quickly though, I realized, Wendy, this is the stupidest thing you're about to ever do, is spritz this without cardboard under it. So I have a stash of cardboard that I keep. I highly recommend that you keep your chipboard from your packs of pattern papers, packaging, stuff like that. It comes in really handy for situations like these. So what I did is I put it kind of like all over my work surface, just covering up all of the things that I didn't want to spray orange today. And then I just started spritzing. So you can see it comes out like in different volumes. It comes out, you know, kind of thick. There's my little, hang and just wait 1 second. So I'm going to show you what I'm going to do to like add a little bit of different color to this. So now I'm going to take the exact same spritzer, not changing it, and I'm going to put Cajun Craze inside this spritzer. Now, this works because these are both the same tones. They're both orange. They're not going to mix together and make brown. You would not be able to do this if you say you were to spritz in green and then decide to spritz in red. That's not going to work because you're going to get brown. So if you just are darkening with the same, the other thing I could have done is I could have just added a bunch more pumpkin pie, but I knew it would work for me to add Cajun Craze re-inker. So here, when I lifted that clear block up, I smushed and moved my leaves a little bit. So I'm just getting them back in place best I can. I do want to say that I am spritzing off camera into a garbage can before I'm spritzing on this paper. That is actually a really important note because you kind of want to get your spritzer going and see what it's going to be like. Look how gorgeous this is. Is that not stunning? I absolutely love how this technique turned out. There's something super satisfying about it, and it just, I know, it's just fun. So I let this dry and I came back to it later. I have these Fine Tech watercolors, and I decided to splatter these onto the background because I felt like the leaves were just too stark white, having them not with anything else on them, and it bothered me. So I actually left this sitting for a day or two because one, it needed to dry, and two, I was trying to decide what to do with it. I couldn't decide if I wanted to add like some more flicking, if I wanted to do some sort of ink blending or coloring, and ultimately I decided adding these gold shimmery flecks was perfect. Then I went in, I'm cleaning my brush here, by the way, that's what I'm doing. And then I went in with that lighter silver, I guess you could say. It's silver color. I think I did that. Yes, I did that. Sorry. You're like, what? How do you not know what you did? Okay, I'm going to tell you. This video was recorded a long time ago, and then I'm just now voiceovering it. So that's what happens sometimes. You know, we create something and then it sits in the hopper for a while, especially right now because I have been creating like crazy. I have been making lots of stuff, and I know you're like, well, your blog and your videos and your social media is not reflective of that. You are correct. That's because it's all coming up. So just know that you're going to get extra stuff from me here in the next week or so. And it's all fun stuff, but I just wanted to share that with you. Also, we have been over this numerous times, but I'm just going to reiterate it for the people in the back and people that are new. If you are new to my channel, first and foremost, welcome. We are so happy that you're here. Second, we hang out here and visit like friends and do lots of chit chat and hanging out. If that's not your jam, that's totally fine. I understand. There's no need to make a ruckus about it. You can just click off my channel. You don't have to watch it. And I don't mean that in a rude, disrespectful way. Some people find the need to leave me really rude comments regarding the fact that I have chit chat on my channel. And it's just so unnecessary, you know, in a world full of all kinds of beautiful things. I just never understand why people always find the ugly thing to pick out and like make, you know, I just don't get it. Anyways, I digress. So there's that. And then the other thing is I've been getting lots of questions recently about, am I still with Stampin' Up? The answer to that question is yes. I am with Stampin' Up, but I'm expanding my creative journey. I have been with Stampin' Up for 13 years. And while Stampin' Up has been a fabulous place for me to start, creatively, I have just felt stifled for a little while and wanting to try and branch out and do new things. So with that, I am a designer for the Rabbit Hole Designs, and so you see me using a lot of their product, and I am a designer for My Sweet Petunia, and in addition to that, I am an affiliate with My Sweet Petunia. So here I'm just using, what did I use? Lemon Lime Twist? I think I used Lemon Lime Twist, and I'm ink blending and then going in with some Granny Apple Green to darken that up. And this dye, I'll have to look up what the name of those dyes are. I cannot remember off the top of my head, but was it Nested Essentials dyes? Maybe? I don't know. Anyways, they're from Stampin' Up, and I had this idea in my head to make it look like one of my little foxes was trotting through like a park on a fall day. That's kind of what came to my mind when I made this card. And you're going to see the fox all finished without seeing any of the coloring. And you're like, why? Well, because I colored it in a previous video for you. This video was actually supposed to come out right on the tails of one of the other videos I created for the Rabbit Hole, and I just couldn't get my act together at the time to get the video put up. So that's why this video is older and you're seeing it now. Still fantastic card. I love the card. I love the techniques used. And here we're using Night of Navy, Blueberry Bushel, and Azure Afternoon for the sky. So in the description of this video, there is a link that says measurements and supplies. And if you go to that link, it will list all of these supplies. The Rabbit Hole supplies, the Stampin' Up supplies, the My Sweet Petunia supplies, all the things. Anyway, I digress. Back to what I was saying about Stampin' Up. So I do have on occasion somebody send me nasty messages about me branching out and doing different things. And to that, I just want to say, and I've said this before, and at some point I'm just going to quit saying this stuff because I feel like I'm beating a dead horse. Ooh, that's a horrible saying, by the way. But, like, there is no, first of all, anything that I do within my Stampin' Up business, I have run by Stampin' Up compliance department to make sure that it is allowed. That's first and foremost. So anybody who wants to come at me and tell me I'm doing things against the Stampin' Up policies, you are wrong. I am not doing anything against Stampin' Up policy. I am 100% within my bounds. What I think is sad about the situation is that so many people believe that. Not about me, but about Stampin' Up, that you can't use other product if you're a Stampin' Up demonstrator. So I'm going to just tell you this. If you want to use other product and you don't want to feel burdened by it, join my team. So there's that. Like, I'm tired of this industry is a really big industry, and card making is not specific to one company. Just like I'm sure you don't buy all your clothes at one company. I'm sure you don't get, all your food from one store. And that very much is a business model that comes from Stampin' Up. I don't want to say comes from Stampin' Up, but like that is the culture of the company, is to use just their products if you're a demonstrator. And there is nothing wrong with that. And I'm going to tell you right now, if you want to be a really successful demonstrator, I 100% support that and say that that is what you should do. Since I have branched out, my sales have gone down, and I expected that. I have zero issue with that. I am not doing this just because of the money. I am doing this because it's what I love. And somewhere along the way, I lost my joy for this, and I'm working towards getting it back. I mean, I've gotten it back. And I don't want to be in that place ever again where I'm not feeling joy for what I'm doing. So all of that being said, I hope you take that for what it's worth. I am a demonstrator. I do sell product. You can purchase from me. You can be part of my team and get the discount. At this point, I would not recommend you joining my team if you want to start a business, because I have a handful of team members that I coach and work with that do run businesses, and they know to do what I say, not what I do, because the way I'm doing things now is very different, and there's nothing wrong with that. And, I get a lot of naysayers, but that's okay too. Everybody has to walk their own path in life, and you have to be happy. You have to be happy with your decisions. You have to be happy with what you're doing. So, and you have to be true to yourself. And I have always tried really hard to walk that path. There was a time that I was not so long ago, that everything was just Stampin' Up. And I've even said in the past, the reason I used only Stampin' Up product is because it made me feel comfortable. And I didn't have to think about like what colors go with what. I didn't have to stress about having a bunch of different ink pads or stamps. And that's not, two things can be true in the same space, right? So that is true. If you are dedicated solely to Stampin' Up and you're a person like I am who has kind of like stress or anxiety around having too many things, then there's nothing wrong with that. However, for me, I just got to a place where I felt very stale and I wanted to try some other things. And there's some beautiful products on the market, and there's nothing wrong with that. So all of that being said, I really hope like at some point I'm just not going to have to keep saying this stuff over and over and over. But what happens is I kind of will get like an influx of comments, messages, or emails about it. And then it dies down for a while because I address it in a video. Here, I just want to show you real quick. So I'm using this little container from the Rabbit Hole Designs that I'm obsessed with. It has the little lip on it that pours out. And it was so funny because I was talking to my friend Sandra, and she's like, you are not going to believe what I made with my 3D printer. And I was like, what? She's like, you showed that thing from the rabbit hole. And then Carolyn, who's one of our friends, said to her, oh my gosh, Wendy has that thing from the rabbit. And it turns out that Sandra had just made some with her 3D printer. They're different, a little different than this one you're seeing here. But anyway, I just thought that was really cool. And I was like, what? So anyway, it was just a total coincidence. But these are super cool little things to hold your sequins. I love them. And then the other thing you see me using is called a crystal katana. I am obsessed with this tool because it picks up your products, like it picks up the sequins, but then when you put them back down on the glue, it immediately releases. I don't know what's different about this than like the take your pick tool, or I had another little gem picker that I used to use. It doesn't do the same thing. This crystal katana works every single time, as you can see. I pick it up, I put it down, I remove it, and it sticks. And then you flip it over to the other side to like move your stuff into place. It's brilliant. Okay, so this card is finished. And even though we didn't really get to story time to where I'm sharing about what's happening in our lives, that's okay, because frankly, nothing really new has been happening. So there's that. But we had super fun making this card, and I hope that I've explained well all of the ins and outs of me using other products and all of that. And as I said, if you want to purchase the starter kit from Stampin' Up to get the discount, you can do that, and you can still use other products. There's no rules against that. The only rule Stampin' Up has is I cannot collect compensation from other stamping companies that sell the same kind of product as us. That's it. Okay, you can shop with me at shoploveandstampin.com. That's where you can shop my Stampin' Up store, and then the links on my blog will have those links along with the links to My Sweet Petunia and the Rabbit Hole. I make nothing off the Rabbit Hole designs. I'm just on their design team, and I do make a small commission from My Sweet Petunia. So yeah, shop with me if you want, and if not, just leaving me a thumbs up and subscribing would be great too. Thanks so much. Have a wonderful, wonderful day. Bye-bye.